Summer's calling, and shackshop.us has you covered. Dive into hot sales on ladies' swimsuits, sleek, stylish, and perfect for pool or beach. Stay connected and on trend with smartwatches that track your every move. Explore the depths with underwater drones and reach new heights with our flying drones. Adventure starts here. Hurry, these deals won't last. Shop now at shackshop.us and make this season unforgettable. shackshop.us, where adventure meets style.
Kristi Noem ousted as Homeland Security Secretary amid political turmoil and White House frustration. A sudden shakeup at Homeland Security. In a dramatic move that sent shockwaves through Washington, President Donald Trump announced Thursday that he is removing Kristi Noem from her position leading the United States Department of Homeland Security. The decision came after weeks of escalating political tensions surrounding Noem's leadership and a contentious round of congressional hearings that reportedly angered the White House. Trump revealed the change in a post on Truth Social, stating that he intends to nominate Markwayne Mullin to succeed Noem as secretary. The transition, according to the announcement, is expected to take effect March 31st, pending Senate confirmation. While Trump praised Noem's work at the department, particularly on border enforcement, he also signaled a strategic shift in his administration's leadership team. Rather than exiting the administration entirely, Noem will move into a new role as Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a security initiative that the administration plans to unveil at an event in Doral, Florida. The abrupt change marks one of the most consequential cabinet reshuffles of Trump's second presidential term and raises questions about the administration's immigration agenda, internal political dynamics, and the future direction of U.S. Homeland Security policy. Kristi Noem's rise to national power. Before leading DHS, Kristi Noem had already established herself as a prominent conservative political figure. A former rancher from South Dakota, Noem first entered Congress in 2011 as the state's at-large representative in the House. She later served as governor of South Dakota, where she built a reputation as a staunch advocate for conservative policies and a close ally of Trump. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Noem gained national attention for resisting strict lockdown policies, arguing that individual freedom and economic stability should guide state decision-making. Her positions made her a popular figure among many conservative voters and positioned her as a rising star in Republican politics. When Trump returned to the White House and assembled his second-term cabinet, he tapped Noem to lead the Department of Homeland Security, an agency responsible for immigration enforcement, border protection, counterterrorism coordination, disaster response, and cybersecurity. The appointment was seen as both a reward for her loyalty and a signal that the administration intended to pursue an aggressive immigration agenda. The role of Homeland Security in modern U.S. governance. The Department of Homeland Security is one of the largest and most complex agencies in the federal government. Created in the aftermath of the September 11 attacks, the department merged dozens of agencies to coordinate domestic security operations. Today, DHS oversees several major components, including U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Federal Emergency Management Agency, United States Coast Guard, Transportation Security Administration. The Secretary of Homeland Security is responsible for managing these agencies and implementing policies related to border security, disaster response, and counterterrorism. Because of its enormous scope, the position is widely considered one of the most demanding roles in the federal government. Noem's border enforcement agenda. During her tenure as secretary, Noem became closely associated with the Trump administration's renewed focus on border security. Her department oversaw a wide-ranging crackdown on illegal immigration that included expanded deportation operations, new detention facilities, and increased collaboration with state and local law enforcement. Administration officials credited the effort with dramatic results. According to figures cited by the department, approximately 670,000 illegal immigrants were removed from the United States. Nearly 2 million migrants reportedly self-deported during 2025. Federal authorities seized more than 500,000 pounds of illegal drugs along the southern border. Supporters argued that these numbers represented one of the most aggressive immigration enforcement efforts in modern American history. Critics, however, claim that the operations created humanitarian concerns and strained relationships with immigrant communities. Political pressure and public backlash. While many Republicans praised Noem's policies, her leadership also drew intense criticism from Democratic lawmakers and immigrant advocacy groups. Opponents argued that mass deportation efforts led to family separations and raised questions about due process. Protests erupted in several cities, including Minneapolis, where immigration enforcement raids sparked demonstrations and calls for congressional investigations. Political figures such as Gavin Newsom and Eric Swalwell accused the administration of pursuing policies they described as excessively harsh. The administration rejected those accusations, arguing that the operations were necessary to restore border security and combat international drug trafficking. The congressional hearing that changed everything. The tipping point for Noem's tenure appears to have come during a series of congressional hearings this week. Lawmakers questioned the DHS secretary about a controversial advertising campaign funded by taxpayer dollars. The contract reportedly involved a firm connected to individuals within Noem's political circle. During the hearing, John Kennedy pressed Noem repeatedly about whether the White House had approved the campaign.
According to reports, Noem suggested that Trump had signed off on the advertisement. However, a White House official later said that Trump had not approved the contract and had been unaware of the details. That revelation reportedly triggered significant frustration inside the administration. Rumors, personal attacks, and heated exchanges. The hearings also included a series of contentious exchanges with Democratic lawmakers. Representative Jared Moskowitz raised questions about rumors of a personal relationship between Noem and longtime Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski. Another lawmaker asked directly whether the secretary had engaged in a romantic relationship with Lewandowski. Noem angrily rejected the allegations, calling them inappropriate and accusing critics of spreading tabloid rumors. During one exchange, she criticized what she described as sexist attacks against conservative women in politics. The heated confrontation became one of the most widely discussed moments of the hearings. Trump's decision to replace Noem. Behind the scenes, reports indicated that Trump had grown increasingly dissatisfied with Noem's performance. According to sources familiar with the situation, the president believed the hearings reflected poorly on the administration and risked undermining its immigration agenda. The controversy surrounding the advertising contract also raised concerns about internal management at DHS. Ultimately, Trump decided to replace Noem while keeping her within the administration in a different role.
Enter Markwayne Mullin. The president's choice to lead DHS surprised many in Washington. Markwayne Mullin is best known as a businessman and former professional mixed martial arts fighter before entering politics. He served in the House of Representatives for a decade before winning election to the Senate. Mullin has been a strong supporter of Trump and has frequently defended the administration's immigration policies. Trump praised Mullin as a tremendous leader and highlighted his unique background. A historic appointment. Mullin's nomination also carries symbolic significance. He is one of the few Native American members of the Senate and would become one of the most prominent indigenous leaders in federal executive leadership if confirmed. The last Native American senator before Mullin was Ben Nighthorse Campbell. Trump's announcement emphasized Mullin's advocacy for tribal communities and his experience in Congress. Mullin's reaction. When reporters approached Mullin on Capitol Hill after the announcement, he appeared surprised. "I wasn't expecting the call today," he told journalists. He joked that his first step would be discussing the decision with his wife. Mullin added that he looks forward to speaking further with the president about the direction of DHS. The confirmation process ahead. Before Mullin can assume the position, he must be confirmed by the United States Senate. His nomination will first go before the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, which is responsible for vetting candidates for the role. Confirmation hearings could become politically charged, given the current debate over immigration policy. If approved, Mullin would take control of a department with more than 250,000 employees and an annual budget exceeding $90 billion. Interim leadership. Until Mullin is confirmed, leadership of DHS will likely fall to Troy Edgar, who is next in the department's line of succession. Edgar previously served as mayor of Los Alamitos, California, and is a U.S. Navy veteran. The Shield of the Americas initiative. Noem's new assignment focuses on a program called Shield of the Americas. While details remain limited, administration officials say the initiative will coordinate security cooperation across the Western Hemisphere. The program is expected to involve counter-narcotics operations, anti-cartel intelligence sharing, border security partnerships, expanded law enforcement collaboration with Latin American countries. Officials say the initiative reflects growing concerns about transnational criminal organizations and drug trafficking networks. The future of U.S. immigration policy. The leadership change at DHS could have major implications for immigration enforcement. While Mullin supports strict border policies, his management style and priorities may differ from Noem's approach. Political analysts say the shift could signal a broader recalibration of the administration's strategy ahead of future elections. Immigration remains one of the most polarizing issues in American politics, and DHS will remain at the center of that debate. Political implications for Trump. The removal of a cabinet secretary is always politically significant. For Trump, the decision underscores his willingness to make swift personnel changes when he believes his agenda is being undermined. It also demonstrates his continued emphasis on loyalty and messaging discipline within his administration. By moving Noem into a diplomatic role rather than removing her entirely, Trump appears to be balancing political accountability with internal loyalty. A historic moment for Homeland Security. As the dust settles, the leadership shakeup highlights the enormous pressure surrounding the Department of Homeland Security. From immigration enforcement to disaster response, the department's responsibilities place it at the center of national political debates. Whether Mullin can navigate those challenges remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The sudden departure of Kristi Noem marks a pivotal moment in the evolving story of U.S. Homeland Security policy.